Hello everyone. So in the previous class what we did was we did a protection of N terminal and your activation of C terminal system. After doing this, now our target is to synthesize the peptide bond. Synthesis of a peptide bond. After the amino acid has its N terminal group protected and its C terminal group activated, now what will happen is we can add the second amino acid to form a new peptide bond. The CO bond of the tetrahedral intermediate can be broken easily. The activated group is a good leaving group. Because of the bonding electrons are delocalized, forming a dicyclohexylurea as a stable diimide. So what we can do is, now firstly we are going to add the N protected and C activated amino acid in the system. To that, a new amino acid is being added, and further the lone pair of electrons on the added amino acid will attack onto the activated carbonyl carbon. Further, the good leaving group will leave. Now what is that good leaving group? It is dicyclohexylurea, and it will be a stable diamide system. This is going to finally give me the final peptide system. Let us understand how to do this. Now the system that I have written here is an N protected glycine and a C protected glycine system itself. So what I have done is I have took glycine, I have done its N terminal protection and C terminal activation system. To this I will be now adding an alanine system. So what is my alanine system? This CH3COOH. So this is an alanine system. That is a new amino acid that I have added to this particular system. Now there is lone pair of electrons over here. Can we not attack this lone pair of electrons onto the carbonyl carbon of this activated system? Definitely we can attack it. And then there is a movement of the electrons. Once there is a movement of the electrons, we can now say that we will be getting this particular system. So lone pair of electrons from alanine have now attacked to the carbonyl carbon of the activated site of the glycine system. So we will be getting this particular product, TBOC NHCH2 CO minus OC NH. This is the product that I'll be getting. To this, now what has attached is NH and CH3 C double bond OH. Now what is this particular group? This particular group is the glycine group that I have already added. Now because this is O minus system, the proton which has been lost from this particular system will now react over here and we will be getting an OH. Now this is not a perfectly stable system, rather it's a tetrahedral intermediate that I have got. Can we not observe that on this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds are there, and hence it's a tetrahedral intermediate. Now this particular intermediate can be utilized in such a way that the electrons which are shared between oxygen and hydrogen can be easily moved back, and then we can move these electrons onto the system to form a new carbonyl carbon. Further, I can now get a byproduct which is your dicyclohexylurea. Now this is a C double bond O that is newly formed, and the NH system, and there is a dicyclohexane. Now this is the byproduct which is formed, a dicyclohexylurea system. In the process, plus we will be getting TBOC NH CH2 C double bond O NH. Now this is the new peptide bond that has been formed. CH3 C double bond O OH system. So what I am getting is CH3H3 C double bond OH system. This is the new peptide bond which is formed. So what we have done here is there is a new formation of a new peptide bond. So lone pair of electrons onto the newly added amino acid attacks onto the activated carbonyl carbon system, giving me an intermediate like this. Now the electrons that are being shared between the OH system, now this is a C single bond O tetrahedral intermediate. These electrons will move back so that I will be getting a byproduct, which is the dicyclohexyl urea. These electrons will move like this so that I will be getting a dicyclohexyl urea intermediate, which is a diamide system, and this diamide system is now going to be formed like this. Now diamide system meaning what? This proton will go and attack here, and then I am going to get a diamide system. Now this is a stable diamide system. In turn, there is a formation of a new peptide system. This is how we can synthesize a new peptide system. Now many amino acids can be added to the growing C terminal by repeating these two steps. That means the same steps can be repeated. Add an activated carbonyl carbon system and add a new amino acid system, and go on repeating the systems so that I will be getting n number of peptide system. Activating the carboxylic group of C terminal amino acid, and by treating it with a DCC and then adding a new amino acid. Just we have to go on doing the activation of this C terminal. So further what we can do, there is already a presence of a carboxylic group. Again I can activate this carboxylic group, add a new amino acid to the system, and then I can go on continuing the chain. So let us see how I can continue this chain. Now there is a carboxylic group present over here. Can I not add a new system to this? I just have to activate that carbonyl carbon. So what I will do is C double bond O, NH, CH3, C double bond O, OC. I will be again having N system, and there is an NH system. So what did I do in this procedure? I have again activated my C terminal, and in turn, after activating the C terminal system, again to this system I can add a new amino acid. Now the amino acid can be a glycine system also. Any kind of amino acid can be added. To this, the lone pair of electrons are present. This will go and attack onto the carbonyl carbon here, and then there is again further the same chain of reaction. Here I have got a monopeptide, here I will get a dipeptide system. So this long chain can be continued as long as we go on activating the C terminal system and then adding a new amino acid, so that the long chains can be continued. This is how, by just activating the C terminal, I can get n number of peptide system. That can be a monopeptide system, a dipeptide system, so on and so forth. When the desired number of amino acids have been added to the chain, the protecting group on the N-terminal amino acid has to be removed. Now TBOC is an ideal protecting group. Now TBOC is a system which is an ideal protecting group, and we have to first remove this protecting group after when I have completely finished my synthesis of the dipeptide, tripeptide, oligopeptide system. The next concept that I have to do is, whatever is my protected system over here, that is the TBOC, then I have to remove this TBOC, so that finally I will be getting a free N-terminal. Now the next target is to release this N system. So how I can be doing this? This in the presence of trifluoroacetic acid and DCM. So the mechanism is something like this. We have got a CH3 over here. Now this is an N protected TBOC system. Can I not write it as CH2 and H over here? The trifluoroacetic acid system can be written as COO minus. Now this COO minus will abstract this particular proton, so that I will be getting CH3, CH3, double bond CH2. Now this is an after the abstraction, that is trifluoroacetic acid will now release its proton in the presence of DCM, so that I will be getting a trifluoro COO minus. This will abstract the proton from the CH3 over here. This abstraction will lead me a isobutylene system. Now this isobutylene system is a gas. Further, I can now be able to release a carbon dioxide. Now this will release me a carbon dioxide. Isobutylene is also a gas and carbon dioxide is also a gas. Plus I'll be able to release NH, CH2, C double bond O, NH, CH3, COOH. This is how now I'll be getting my free N-terminal system. So what is happening over here is this trifluoroacetic acid proton can attack onto the NH of the system over here, and then this COO minus will abstract the proton from the CH3, turning it into a isobutylene system. Further, because of this attack of the proton on the NH system, the release of a carbon dioxide takes place. Once the release of the carbon dioxide takes place, I can easily get my free N-terminal, and hence finally the peptide system can be seen, that there is a peptide system which is present, which is a new peptide which is formed, and there is also a free terminal. So this is how there is a production of the system of the C-terminal activation and N-terminal protection, and finally the deprotection of the N-terminal system. But there are limitations to this particular system over here. Now theoretically, if I want to see, I can be able to make as many number or as long number of the peptide system, but practically that is not possible, because what happens is there is some limiting type of system, and also because the reactions are not giving me 100% yield. This yield is decreased during purification process. That means after trying to purify the dipeptide system, the yield gets decreased. After each step of peptide synthesis, it should be purified to prevent any subsequent unwanted reactions with leftover reagents. Now what may be the leftover reagents? They can be extra amino acid system, there can be extra DCC, there can be extra T-box system. Now after every step there should be a purification which has to be done. This is a tedious process. 80% yield is relatively high yield, and large polypeptides could never be able to synthesize with this process. The major problem over here is monopeptide, dipeptide, or till oligopeptides we can synthesize, but the longer polypeptide systems could not be synthesized, because at every step there is a purification process, and in turn the yield goes on decreasing. So this is how the trivial method of doing an N protection and C activation to give me a monopeptide dipeptide system is having few limitations in the series. Now we just now saw that doing a blocking agents, that is doing an N protection and C activation, we could not achieve a good amount of yield for polypeptide series, and hence came the concept of automated peptide synthesis, which is also called as Bruce Merrifield synthesis of polypeptides. The yield using blocking agents was very low. That is what we understood. In 1969, Bruce Merrifield described a method that revolutionized the synthesis of peptides, because it provided much faster way to produce peptides in much higher yields. That means the yields could be now properly synthesized and the yields could be made higher. It is automated. The synthesis requires fewer hours for direct attention. That means we need not give a direct attention every time. We need not even go for purification. So that reduces a lot of work. So bradykinin was synthesized with 85% yield in 27 hours. This was the first polypeptide system that was synthesized in 27 hours. So what is this automated solid phase peptide synthesis? The C-terminal amino acid is covalently attached to a solid support contained in a column. Now this particular system makes use of a column system and a solid support. Each N-terminal is blocked amino acid is added at one time along with other needed reagents, so the protein is synthesized from C-terminal to N-terminal. Previously that we tried to synthesize was from N-terminal to C-terminal. Here we will be trying to synthesize C-terminal to N-terminal. In a natural process, it is always N-terminal to C-terminal. But this, because it's a synthetic process, now here the synthesis we are doing completely opposite, that is C-terminal to N-terminal system. The solid support that we are making use over here is polystyrene resin similar to one used in ion exchange chromatography. We have come across polystyrene in ion exchange chromatography. The benzene rings have chloromethyl substituents, that is ion exchange sulfonic acid. Before the C-terminal amino acid is attached to the resin, the N-terminal is protected by TBOC itself to prevent the amino group reacting with the resin. So what they do is, before even adding the C-terminal amino acid, as usual, N-terminal is protected by the TBOC system. The C-terminal is attached to the resin by SN2 reaction. Its carboxylic group attacks a benzyl carbon of the resin, displacing a chloride ion. After the C-terminal amino acid is attached to the resin, the TBOC protecting group is removed. The next amino acid is added, which is its amino group is protected with TBOC and its carboxylic group activated with DCC is added to the column. So what we try to do, let us try to understand now. Now can we not see that there is an N protected amino acid over here? This is an N protected amino acid. Now this is a chlorobenzyl system attached to the resin. Now this resin is called as a polystyrene resin. Now this is a part of the column. Now my carboxylic group, which is present with the N protected amino acid. Now this carboxylic group is C double bond O minus. The negative charge on this oxygen will go and attack onto this particular carbon, so that I will be able to get this particular covalent bond. Now this particular covalent bond is formed by an SN2 reaction. What is happening is the Cl is being removed over here and there is a new covalent bond which gets formed. Now previously we have seen how we can do a deprotection with the trifluoroacetic acid and DCM. We add trifluoroacetic acid and DCM. There is a release of a isobutylene system and a carbon dioxide. What we are now getting is a free N terminal. So this particular system is now attached to the resin, and once we add a trifluoroacetic acid and a DCM, I will be getting a free N terminal. Once this free N terminal is present, I can easily add an activated system to this. Now what is an activated system? N protected amino acid, and now I can easily add a activated carbonyl carbon system. What is the activated carbonyl carbon system? The carbonyl carbon which is attached to the DCC system. Now this DCC system can be added to the column, and further the N terminal which is present over here, this free N terminal can attack onto the C terminal which is activated by the DCC, and we get a long chain peptide system which is attached to the column itself. Again further the same procedure, make use of a trifluoroacetic acid in presence of a DCM. Again there is a free N terminal. Again we can add the activated carbonyl carbon, and we can go on continuing the process until the number of polypeptides that needs to be synthesized. Now can we not see here that again we have added, after complete addition of various amino acids, we can see there is a long chain polypeptide that has been synthesized. Now this particular resin needs to be released out. So how we can do? We just have to add an HF system, that is hydrogen fluoride, which is going to give me a CH2OH, that is benzyl alcohol which is attached to the resin, and then it is going to give me a free carboxylic system. This is how a Bruce Merrifield system can be done. Now let us understand this by a proper particular reaction. Now let us write a C-terminal protected system. So what is a C-terminal protected system? That is the TBOC system. Here I am writing a glycine which is an N protected system. Now my glycine system that I am writing here is already N protected by the TBOC system. So to this I will be adding benzyl chloride which is attached to the resin. Now this is my resin which is a polystyrene resin. Now what has happened in this particular system is, now there is a negative charge which will go and attack onto the CH2, and then there is a release of the Cl. Now there is already a presence of an H over here, so the byproduct that I am going to get here is HCl, and then this is an SN2 reaction. This is going to give me this product, CH3, 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 OCO, NH, CH2, C double bond O, O, CH2, which is now attached to the resin. So my carboxylic system is now going to be attached to the resin. Carboxylic system has been now attached to the resin. So what we have done here is, I have now added a system which was N protected to the resin. Now this is attached to the column. Now my next step is to deprotect the system of nitrogen or the N terminal, so that I will be getting a free N terminal. How will I do this? I will be adding a trifluoroacetic acid and DCM. Previously we have already discussed about this particular system. To understand how to release this NH, trifluoroacetic acid will abstract the proton and there is a release of a carbon dioxide, so that we will be getting an isobutylene and a carbon dioxide, and I will be getting an free N terminal. So that is what happens here. I will be getting a free N terminal, C double bond O, O, CH2, which is attached to the resin. Now here we have got a free N terminal system. To this free N terminal system, I can now add a new amino acid. Now a new amino acid is nothing but NH2, CH, CH3, C double bond O, ODCC system. So what is this ODCC system? Now the carbonyl carbon of the alanine system is activated by the addition of the DCC system. We have already seen this procedure of how a carbonyl carbon could be activated by the DCC system. Now there is a presence of the lone pair of electrons from this free N terminal. It will go and attack onto the carbonyl carbon. Further, this will release the dicyclohexyl urea system, and then there is a monopeptide which can be formed. So how can we form this monopeptide? NH2, C, CH3, CO, NH. From where did this NH come from? It has come from this particular free terminal, CH2, C double bond O, OCH2, which is attached to the resin. So in turn, I could synthesize a system which is a monopeptide. We could synthesize a system which is a monopeptide system, and then in turn I can easily go on continuing this kind of chain. Now this would help me so that there will be a synthesis of n number of polypeptide system. But look at one thing, that we have started with the C terminal to N terminal, because the attack from the C will take, attack from N will now give me a long chain on the C terminal system, but naturally it will be N to C, but in this particular system it is C to N which is going to happen. Further, again I can make use of this particular free N terminal, and then I can attack onto another amino acid and hence go on continuing this particular process. We need not have any type of purification for this particular process. But there is this resin which is remaining with me, which I do not want in my final polypeptide. So what I will be doing is I will just add an HF system to this, so that we will be getting NH2, C, CH3, C double bond O, NH. Definitely there is a H over here, CONH, CH2, C double bond O, OH, and then we can easily get a CH2OH system. So we will be getting a CH2OH system, so that a benzyl alcohol can be released out. This happens because HF is in the presence of a hydrolytic condition. One proton is given over here, that is HF, one proton is given here under the hydrolytic condition CH2, and CH2 is converted to OH. There is a resin. Now this is a free resin and this is a free monopeptide that has been formed. So in this way there is no need of n number of purification in this particular process. So let us see what are the advantages of this process. A growing peptide can be purified by washing the column with an appropriate solvent after each step of procedure. That means every time we need not even do a purification, just simple washing of the column is enough. The impurities are washed out of the column because they are not attached to the solid support. Why the impurities can be washed out easily? Because they are not attached to any kind of solid support, that is the resin, they are not attached. Because the peptide is covalently attached to the resin, none of it is lost in the purification step, leading to high yields of purified product. Now the final peptide is just attached to the column itself, hence there is no loss of the yield, and hence there is a high purified product that can be obtained. After the required amino acids have been added one by one, the peptide can be removed from the resin by treatment with HF under mild conditions that do not break the peptide bonds. That the milder conditions under HF can release the column system or release the resin, and finally we get a purified peptide system. So this is how we could discuss one trivial method of the system by blocking and deblocking agents, and one is your Bruce Merrifield system, through which we are making use of a resin system so that we can synthesize the polypeptide system. Thank you.